So if he gave each and every brother something that they couldn't do, then how would he be able to fulfill his word? So the Lord is going to be with us regardless. That's why we don't have shit to fear, man, because we know what our future is. See, the future of the so-called white man, they know that their future is supremely dire. And that's why they're trying so many different tactics, and they're going to be doing so many different things to suppress the nation of Israel from being that holy nation. Because they know when we rise up and we get the victory, it's a wrap. It's a done deal. They can close the book of what their plans were, and just pretty much just do away with everything. And they don't want it to get to that part. Go on, brother.
This is Ecclesiastes 7 verse 1. A good name is better than precious ointment, and the day of death is better than the day of one's birth.
Right, the day of death is better than the day of one's birth. Because think about it, right? What did Job say? Job said that let the day that I was born be a day of darkness. Curse that day. Because the minute he was born into,
pain.
The pain that he had to endure.
Yeah.
Just like how we was born. The minute we were born into a world of people that were ruling this world that had not our best interests at heart. That allowed us to go through all forms of types of oppression. All right?
Can I just add to what you just said? Because when you're born, if you don't cry, they slap you, because that means you're in a, something ain't right. So you cry. Why you cry? You cry because you feel pain. So as soon as you come out the boom boom, as I say, as soon as you come out the boom boom, you're feeling some kind of pain. You have to cry, man. It's a sign of life. So in this system, it's more about pain and crying and suffering.
Yeah, it is. So even the babies know when the babies come out, they know that they're in a cursed situation. Because the minute you're born into this world, the minute you're cursed, especially the Israelite people, the so-called black, so-called Latino, Native American Indians. And when I was born, I was just plain dead. I was quiet, man. I was just plain dead. Like
dead to the world.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's what it is, man. So we want to get rid of this situation, man. But it's only going to be but through Yahawashi. He's going to be the one to do away with all of our sorrows and our hurts and the things that make us cry. Going up. That's in the book of Revelations. Yep.
I had a quick one.
Oh yeah, you're going up.
Yeah, because bro was talking about the Lord ain't going to give what you can't bear. This is 1 John 5 and 14, and it says, and this is the
You
confidence.
can break it down as well.
Okay, can't. 1 John 5 and 14, and this is the confidence that we have in him, that if we ask anything according to his will, he heareth us, and if we know that he heareth us, whatsoever we ask, we know that we have the petitions that we desired of him.
Exactly.
So, if you're praying for faith, if you're praying for endurance, if you're praying for power in that day, that the Lord keeps us, we have the confidence that the Lord will grant it unto us, man.
Exactly.
So we have nothing to worry about.
Absolutely.
I've got something. This is Psalms 38, 37 and 37. And it says, but the salvation, 39, but the salvation of the righteous is of the Lord Yahawashi.
Right.
He is their strength in a time of trouble.
See that?
And the Lord Yahawashi shall help them.
You know how they're going to help them? How? It says in what is it? If you can, brother, give me the book of Jeremiah 30, verse 7. It says the wisdom and knowledge and understanding shall be the stability of thy time. So that's how the Lord is going to uphold us, through his word.
I've got a little bit more. And deliver them, he shall deliver them from the wicked.
Who's the wicked? The so-called white man. They're known as the Edomites. Now, when you read the book of Malachi 1, verse 4, it says that they are the border of wickedness. So you have the sons of God versus the sons of the wicked one. Now, am I saying that to be an asshole? No. That's what the scripture's saying. You know? As I've said earlier before, when the prophets came on the scene, they came to give a message, whether it was a good or a bad message. But overall, it was a bad message. I'm going to just be honest. As it says in the book of Jeremiah 28 and 8, the prophets that came before thee of old prophesied against many kingdoms. And this is a kingdom we're under right now. Of what? Pestilence and all of those negative different things. All right? Yeah, so let's read that again.
And the Lord Yahawashi shall help them and deliver them. He shall deliver them.
Yeah.
I believe that word in the Hebrews, deliver, is Hawashanawa, if I'm saying it
something
right.
like that.
Yeah. Hawashanawa. He shall deliver them from the wicked.
He shall deliver them from the wicked. Because really what it is right now, like, because we we've sinned and we disobeyed the laws of God, now we're serving the so-called white man, which the Edomites. And it was going to come a time, and the reason why the Edomites are ruling right now, because prophecy had to be fulfilled that beast would be resurrected again, which the beast represents the Roman Empire. And that beast would come back again and rule all over again the Roman Empire. His deadly wounds would be healed, and it would be loose a little season. So we're at the end of the little season. The little season began around during the time of the 15th century, when what's the guy's name? Christopher Columbus and another guy, Cesare Borgia, and the popes of Rome. That's when Esau kind of came up in there. Edomites came up in there to the power seat and regained their power again. That's why it was also known as the Renaissance period. The word Renaissance is a French word which means to rebirth. So they were just basically bringing back the ancient Roman Empire. And from that point on till now, we're still in the Roman Empire. But we're at the end of this particular age. We're at the end of the age of the last leg of the Roman Empire, pretty much, you know. Yeah, let's read this.
And save them because they trust in him.
Yeah, that's it. Because he saved them. Because what?
They trust in him.
They trust in him. So our only trust out of this hellhole that we're in is through Yahawashi. That's the only one we're going to trust. Going out. Let's get this. The precepts is coming out.
Yeah,
man.
nice.
This is Benjamin's Psalm. Psalm 61. Hear my cry, O Most High, attend unto my prayer. From the end of the earth will I cry unto thee. When my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to the rock that is higher than I.
Yeah, because we're going to be in an overwhelmed situation. When this society hits ground zero, man, and there's all kind of catastrophes going on among the people, we're going to be bugged out. But we're not going to be too bugged out to the point where we lose our cool and we lose our faith. Because we're going to remember what the word says, that these things will take forth to come to pass. Go on, brother.
It says, verse 3, for thou hast been a shelter for me and a strong tower from the enemy.
Right, so just like how the Lord delivered us from Egypt, our ancestors, out of the captivity of Egypt, he's going to deliver us in like manner. Well, not in like manner, but more in a different sense. And then we'll be casted up into heaven with those angels, which Esau calls UFOs, and then we'll be turned back to the land of Israel. Like I was talking about earlier before, you had this guy by the name of Ben Ami. She led our people down there back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, but he gained prominence around the 60s. And he was saying that, look, we're Israelites, so we might as well return back to the land. But not knowing the prophecy that the Messiah would have to make a second return to bring us back to the land. And we've just expounded on many different precepts on how that's going to be the case. All right? Go on, brother.
And it says, I will abide in thy tabernacle forever.
Right.
I will trust in the cover of thy wings.
I will trust in the cover of thy wings. Go on.
Selah, for thou, O Most High, hast heard my vows. Thou hast given me the heritage of those that fear thy name.
Right, go on.
Thou wilt prolong the king's life and his years as many generations.
Yeah, that's talking about David. Go on.
He shall abide before the Most High forever. O prepare mercy and truth, which may preserve him.
Right, so the king, which was David, we have the same heart as him. We're also going to abide in him forever and ever too. That's our mentality. Our mentality is the same. And you know, and that's another prayer brothers could put up as well. Pray that the Lord does not allow that you don't depart from his presence. That's in the book of Psalms 51. And that's just the mentality we have to conjure up, that we're willing to obey the Lord forever and ever, man. Because that's what we were put here to do. We were put here to serve the Lord. That's in the book of Ecclesiastes 12. Yeah. All right? I've got it. Let's read it.
Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep his commandments.
Yeah.
For this is the whole duty of man.
This is the whole duty of man. So a real man, even the dog had to chime in on that. You know? So yeah, that's the whole duty of man, to serve the Lord, to keep his commandments. More in particular, the Israelite man. And we've gotten back to that, and we're going to continue to hold on to this truth, even in the time of Jacob's trouble, even through the affliction. Okay? So yeah, that's all I got to say. I want to let this brother get it in, man.
Oh, come.
You know?
I've got something.
Yeah, go on.
It's Hebrews 12. And Yeah, 12. Wherefore seeing we also are compassed about with a so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us, looking unto Yahawashi, the author and finisher of our faith.
Yeah, so it says let us run with patience in the faith, man, because the word patience goes back to the word suffering, man. You know, so being in the truth, it's like you sign up for a session of suffering, basically, man. You know, because the scripture says wisdom makes a wise man mad. That's how it goes?
Yeah,
That's it.
you said it right.
Yeah, that's been mad. Yeah, because
Oppression makes a wise
so
man.
like, I
Wisdom,
always say that scripture wrong.
Well, you know what? That's still correct, because you having the wisdom. That's why you're mad, because you know.
That's the process of it. But even still, I always say that. But yeah, wisdom does make you mad, but it's the oppression. Okay, because and how does the wisdom make? It's like it goes hand in hand. How does wisdom and oppression make you mad? Because oppression is like, well, I'm in a situation, but guess what? The scriptures say, well, actually, it is the wisdom, because the scripture says, thou trust in oppression.
Yeah.
You got 2/3 of our people that are happy. They don't even realize that they're under oppression, but they're cool with the system. What makes you mad is now that you have the wisdom to see what the oppression actually does to you.
God.
So when you come into the truth, you get more mad because you look at your surroundings, you know better, you want better, but you, in this present moment, you don't have better.
God.
You still have the same old shit situation from before.
God.
So when you come into the truth, it makes you more solitary.
God.
You know, you like to be by yourself,
Yeah.
or except for being on the arcade, you like to be by yourself, man. Because everything else just, it's a distraction. It makes you mad, man.
And it's very irritating too.
Ecclesiastes and 7 says,
Like
4.
one of Bob Marley's guys said, right? Yeah, what's his name?
I don't know, is it Bunny?
Yeah, Bunny Whaley. I think it was him. He said we're in a situation.
One of the the three whalers, three wise men they used to call them, innit? Peter Tosh, Bunny Whaler, and
I think it was Peter Tosh.
Peter Tosh, and Bob Marley.
Okay.
So yeah, man.
Yeah, I get into some reggae as well, man. Don't get me wrong.
Reggae, that's some good music.
Yeah.
It's revolutionary music.
Yeah.
You know, except they say burn down Babylon, but they don't really know what Babylon is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, they kind of do know. Like some of them kind of did know.
They got
Like they knew it was America.
Yeah.
Kind of had some idea.
And the whaling, the whalers, because they was whaling, they knew they was in a sad.
Right.
Which I'm going to bring out the precept actually, what the brother's saying, you know. So, 7, Ecclesiastes 7 and 4 says, the heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of myrrh. And this is what you're saying. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and the gift destroys the heart. Better is the end of the thing than the beginning thereof, and patience in the spirit is better than a proud in spirit.
Yeah, so the patient in spirit, because when you're patient in spirit, you're suffering, man. And when you're suffering, you're not proud, man. You know, like from time to time, you'll get sick, like you get the common cold or something like that. Or if brothers have specific illnesses that they deal with that, you know, comes on and off from time to time. That fever. Yeah, hay fever. It humbles you, man. You know, because you'll just like say the things that, for example, mess up your nose or your eyes. It's like when you're fine, you're just going about as normal. You don't appreciate how your eyes are, man. You don't appreciate how your nose is. But then you can't breathe for a couple of weeks, and you're like, fuck, man. It humbles you. You're like, oh shit. You know, even like when you get a little cut on your finger or your hand starts feeling all funny, and it's like it's just a little thing, but you feel all weird because you have to value each part of your body.
Exactly.
The scripture speaks about that spiritually, you know, valuing all the offices in the faith, man. You know, because somebody can get that.
That's
in Corinthians.
Yeah, 12. You know, but as Ariel was bringing out in that precept, when you're suffering, you're not in the house of the proud, man. And pretty much the wisdom causes you to suffer. Okay, you know, but then there's a great reward at the end of it, man. You know, and the reason why a lot of people don't wanna, like, they'll come across us Israelites and stuff, and they don't really wanna stay around and get into it, is because it's about instant gratification. It's like, if I can't feel good now, if I don't get the reward now, then I ain't willing to wait.
I'll just say something. It's like what tastes better, a microwave meal or a meal that you've cooked in an oven, or that you fried, the one that you fried, took your time with. People want a microwave meal. See, they don't want to have to go through the things that the prophets went through, but they just want it. It doesn't work like that.
They want the prophet's reward.
And it's frustrating because when you're going through these things and other people, you know, they may say, well, you know, I don't understand that. So you can't understand it unless you've been through it.
That's it.
You know, you appreciate this truth more when you've been through particular sufferings. You know?
Yeah, and you come out and you look back at the end of it that you've come through.
That's an experience.
Yeah.
In the truth, experience, X means out, and experience means to try. So once you've tried something out and you've come out on the other side, you can, that's the thing, you can understand the process, but then you can experience a process, man. Like a lot of people, they're two different things. A lot of people can understand A to Z, but they haven't done A to Z. So they don't have the experience of it, man. So when they actually find themselves in that situation and they think there's something, it's like they fumble the bag, man. You know, that's why you got a lot of fake prophets out here, man. You just put it out there, you got a lot of guys that aren't serious, and it's like they'll see a certain brother, like, let's just be honest, let's break it down properly, man. There's nothing wrong with being inspired by men. You can be inspired by men. You can look at men above you in the truth and like, I want to be like him one day. That's good. Ultimately, the one we want to be like is Yahawashi. But there's a difference between faking the front and actually, as Karab was saying, going through what it takes, man. You can't look at a man that's been in this like 15, 20 years and think within 2 years you're going to be like him. Why? Because you understand the process of how you got there, but you haven't yet experienced it. You haven't tried it out. And a large part of trying things out is time. As we were talking about the instant gratification, you ain't going to go through everything the truth has to offer in a year, 2 years, 7 years, 10 years. The more you go through, or the longer you've been in, the more you endure, the more you know, the more you understand, the more you overcome. So as Karab was saying, the 2 meals, the microwave thing, you put it in there for 3-4 minutes, and I mean it can go in your stomach, but it ain't as good as the proper cooked food. You know?
What you're saying is very true, because it's about time, and time is what's needed for the trial of our faith. Because if we could just, Yahawah could have it to where we can walk into the kingdom now, but we're not ready because we have to go through the trials and adversities. So this is 1 Peter 1:6, and it says, wherein greatly you rejoice, now for a season, if need be you're in heaviness through manifold temptations, that the trial of your faith, being much more precious than that gold that perisheth, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honour and glory at the appearing of Yahawashi HaMashiach.
I mean, say one thing and remember what happened with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego when they literally went through the fire. That action was actually symbolic as to what we're going to go through in the time of tribulation. All right, because it says in the book of, if you can, brother, real quick, and I'll get back to you. Zechariah 13:9. Remember, it says that the 1/3 shall be tried, right?
Zechariah 13 verse 9, it says, it shall come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all nations that come against Jerusalem, and I will pour upon the house of David.
Try verse 8.
I can't. In that day shall Yahawah defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem. Zechariah 13:8. Oh, so like I've been 12 minutes, like 13:8, my mistake. And it shall come to pass in that day, in that land, in all that land, saith Yahawah, the 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the 3rd part shall be left therein.
Yeah, and as the Apostle Ramla broke it down, because certain brothers was just kind of confused. Do the 2/3 represent the rest of Israel all around the world? No, not necessarily, but only America does. All right, so the 2/3 of our people that will be destroyed is only in America.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you're going to have other Israelites that are going to be destroyed wherever they've been scattered abroad, and because when they heard the word, they didn't think about, you know, taking things to a whole nother level of agreeing with the word and then doing that which is of the word, you know? So they're going to be destroyed, but mainly, more in particular, the 2/3 is referring to the Negroes and all of the rest of the tribes in America. Go on, brother.
And I will bring the 3rd part through the fire,
Right.
and will refine them as silver is refined,
Right.
and I will try them as gold is tried.
Right, so the brothers in America, I mean, all of us are going to be tried. All of us are going to be tried. But you got to understand something. The salvation, the main salvation that's going to come, it's going to be in America. Okay? And then we're going to be saved as well. Because remember what it says in Jeremiah 16 and 14. It says, it will not be said that the Lord hath delivered us out of the land of Egypt, but it shall be said that the Lord delivered us out of the land of the north and all of the lands which we were scattered abroad in. So the main deliverance is going to come to America, all right? And then the deliverance is going to come through as well. Excuse me, the deliverance is going to take place among all of the other countries we were scattered abroad in as well. Go on out, let's read that.
And it says, and I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined.
Right, so more in particular, the brothers in America, they're going to be more tried. They're going to go through their test. And it's going to be in the hour of, what is it, the hour of martial law, and also Jacob's trouble, and also the hour of temptation. So the 1/3 are going to be tried based on what they're going to be put through. All right. So the action that what happened with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego was symbolic as to what we're going to go through. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. I'll give it back to you.
This is James 1 and 2. My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience.
So it's the trying of our faith works patience, man. You know, because to try is what? When you put something or someone to the test, man. You know, and then because of that, you endure the suffering. You know, but it tries your patience to endure, man. See, this thing's about endurance, alright? Because it's like when you first come in, the scripture says the word was like, it was sweet like honey, you know? But then when the Lord starts dealing with you, it's a different thing, man. You know, like I remember the apostles saying that you can come in, like when you first hear about the truth, the very first time, you can believe, but the Lord ain't really dealing with you, man. Like the Lord will start dealing with you like almost like a year and a half after you've been around, man. And that's because, and that's in the scripture, it says wisdom will try it, man. Like a woman, like if you get with a woman, right, you want the sex, okay? But if she just gives it to you, you're gonna be thinking, well, I know I ain't the first guy you spoke to, so you just be spreading your legs for anyone. Like, it kind of turns you off, man. You wanna have to work a little bit, like woo that woman a little bit, have that little foreplay or whatever, and then you get to it, man. And it's the same thing with wisdom. Sophia, she ain't just going, oh well, you're interested in me? Okay, here I am. Nah, you're gonna have to work for that, man. So in the truth, when the Lord starts dealing with you, it's like that's when a couple of years in, now you start going through all that fucked up shit, man. All of a sudden, your family hates you, your job is shaky, all kind of hell, man. You know, that's the working of your patience, man. Go on, huh?
Knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. Verse 4, but let patience have a perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire.
So there's such thing as, because we already said that patience goes back to the word suffering. So the Lord is going to put each man through a perfect level of suffering
That they can bear.
that they can bear. As we were saying earlier, the Lord's not going to give you something you can't bear. So whatever is, the max point for each of us, the Lord is going to give us that perfect amount for the working of our faith.
And entire, wanting nothing. And if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of the Most High that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him.
Yeah, so when you ask, that's why the Lord said, ask and ye shall, it shall be given unto you, knock and the door shall be open, man. You know? So pretty much, man, like if you ask for faith or you ask for wisdom, whilst going, see, the Lord ain't going to put you for a trial and then don't give you the tools to get through the trial, man. Like the Lord will give you the tools, but you got to ask for it, man. And you got to actually try and apply it, man. You know? Is it got any more in that? Where's that one where
Add something else.
where's that scripture where we're going to talk about it? The body.
Corinthians.
Yeah.
I think it's Corinthians 12.
Yeah.
You still want James, or should I
No, go do all the precepts you got.
Yes, I've got. This is Galatians 6. Because where you're going to find out, it's brilliant that you got the body, but this ain't a hold, you know, and I ain't gonna be holding your hands when you're in that chariot, you know, with you. So this is a scripture to base on that. It's Galatians 6, and I'll start at 6. Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such an one in a spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted.
Yeah, so read that again. Read that. That's
Brethren,
a good one.
if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such an one in the spirit of meekness.
We're in the flesh, man. So, first of all, there's all kind of like mad doctrines out there. You know, the flesh would have you ask questions and stuff. And then some people that aren't spiritual enough, they get swayed by that, man. So a man can come around and it's like, oh, you know, you've got questions, and it's like, okay. But then it says, restore in the spirit of meekness, man. You know, so like if a brother's borderline going off, man, you have to yourself have to be humble about it to restore the man, you know. But if he's not hearing it after a while, then of course it changes up. But firstly, restore in the spirit of meekness. Go on, up.
Considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. This is the point.
So like that's the spirit, man, because I remember I put it in the chat. I have to go past a certain part in North London, near to where I live actually, to come and go home from work on the bus. And I sent a picture to the brothers in the chat of some guys that we used to know that associated with someone that used to be with us, right? They're out there teaching now, where we used to be ages ago. And then today, again, on the way to go to the underground, I had to walk straight past, you know, that spot, and they were out there teaching, man. You know, now, these are men that have gone off, man, you know, and we're not fake, man. Like, we're not fake. Even if we don't, and we learned this from our apostles, man. Sometimes people used to come up to the camp that they'll be cursing out, they're going off, but we're gonna acknowledge you, man. You know, at the end of the day, you're a brother in that you're an Israelite, but we're not cool because you don't teach the right thing.
That's it. So lucky, brother. We still love you, but we gotta love you from a distance.
From a distance. So I wasn't like, oh well, these are them brothers. I'm just gonna walk like I didn't see them. No, I went to them. Look, shalom, man. Whatever, cool, and I'm off. You know, because at the end of the day, it's about like cursing brothers out isn't to vent, man, your own frustration on a man. It's in the hopes that the man is turned around. You know, and he's restored. Okay, as this scripture was saying. Go on.
And this is it, verse 2. Bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Mashiach.
Yeah, so
For if any man think himself to be something, when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself.
yeah, man, and that's another thing as well. So, like, we were talking about experience and trying things out. It's like, sometimes once again in the flesh, you may feel like, oh, well, I've been in it for a number of years now, and you start getting high-minded. Now the scripture says, think, what? Read that last verse.
For if any man think himself to be something, when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself.
Yeah, so you're only deceiving yourself. If I was to think like that, you know, most I forbid, I'm only deceiving myself, man. You know, because at the end of the day, as much as you know, or as much as we all know, you go to bed and you wake up and you're in the same position, man. You know, we can't save ourselves. We need Yahawashi, you know. So at the end of the day, we're nothing. Okay, go on, huh?
But let every man prove his own work, and then shall he have rejoicing in himself alone.
Yeah, so what does the word prove mean? To put to the test, man. You know, so pretty much that's why the scripture says to whom much is given, much is required, man. The Lord is going to give you them talents, right? And you've got to put it to the test, or the Lord will put us to the test to see what we're going to do with it, man. You know, that's why, as the elder was talking about earlier, he briefly mentioned it, keeping up the shows, you know, coming out and doing the work, man, because we've been given something to do, man. You know, so you've got to do it. I brought out a precept earlier where Yahawashi said, I must work the works of him that sent me whilst it is day, man. We still have the liberty to be out here. You know, we're not being rounded up off the streets yet. The internet isn't shut down. So what's the excuse, man? You know, there is none. Okay. Go on, huh?
Luke 19:13. And he called his 10 servants and delivered them 10 pounds and said unto them, occupy until I come.
Yeah, exactly, man. So to occupy until the Lord comes is to do the work until he comes, man. You know, keep going, keep pushing. Okay? Ari, are you going?
Yeah, I got piece up.
That word occupy, just gonna look it up. The word means It's our business.
Business, yeah.
Now you got people out there that will research this word and actually think it's an actual business. It's a different business. No, the business is doing this work. Like when we're given talents, like the brother said, the Lord gave us each and every last one of his talents. We're supposed to use those talents to gain more talents. That's the business.
Corrupt, you got that one in
Go on, brother.
Oh, you want to
Yeah.
so like
no, Aria, you got something in it?
Yeah, you got.
I've just got a bit more. The
Oh,
definition of
Slack.
occupy.
Yeah, go on.
Slack, yeah. It says to take up or fill time, space, to engage or
You got
employ the mind, energy or attention of.
Read that again from the top, Slack, yeah?
Right. Definition 1.
Yeah.
To take up or fill space or time.
Yeah, so we got time, so what are we doing?
Space and time.
Yeah, space and time. We're occupying that space and time, man. Alright, you know, this is exactly what we're doing. Going on.
Definition 2. To engage or employ the mind, energy or attention of.
To employ the mind.
Yeah, so we're oh, that's beautiful, man. We have employed, through the spirit and power of Yahawashi, we have employed our minds. Okay, you know.
So that means there's no place for idleness.
Exactly, man. You know, like you, come on, man. Now, sometimes you may be there thinking of a topic to do a lesson on, and you may be there for a while thinking, but at the end of the day, you always gonna find something.
And you know what? It's lucky. You know what Elder Rabbit says? Just push the button.
Yeah.
Once you push the button, it's like the spirit just
Yeah.
and it just let the spirit take over. Just trust. That's a part of that faith. That's why I don't always write down my lessons. Because when I'm not doing that, you're relying on the spirit. So try it.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man. Let's get them other definitions.
Yeah, there's quite a few more good ones. It says to be a resident or tenant or to dwell in.
Yeah.
And that's a good point because when you see an abandoned house, what do you usually get in there? Squatters and lodgers and all this kind of shit.
Yeah.
So we can't abandon this house that the Lord's given us to occupy. Yeah. Definition 4. To hold a position or office. Definition 5.
And what's the office, man? You know, the office is what? The prophets, the teachers, the evangelists. Okay, we're gonna get the scripture that deals with that. You got the apostles, you know, the helps. These are all the offices, man. So wherever our individual lots are, we've got to fulfill that, man. You know.
It's like the Apostle Paul spoke about the body. Everybody has their own office.
Yeah, just a couple more. It says, definition 5, to take possession and control of a place as by military invasion. Definition 6, to participate in a protest about a social or political issue as by taking possession or control of
You know what
buildings.
should come to mind, brothers? What scripture should come to mind? After you just read that.
Romans 13, that you be not slothful in business.
Nope.
No.
Nope. What else? Read that again. Read that
What's the
again.
last one?
It says, to participate in a protest about a social or political issue as by taking possession or control of buildings.
No, go up with biblical use. More biblical use.
Salakia. To take possession of or control a place as by military invasion.
Yeah. So what comes to mind based on what he said? I'll tell you, brothers. You know the scripture where it's in the book of Revelations.
Okay.
The 11th chapter where it says that they shall stand. No, I think it's in somewhere else, but it says something. There's a scripture where it says it's Ezekiel 37.
Yeah.
It says they shall stand upon their feet.
The two witnesses. The two witnesses.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Can't.
Yeah.
All right.
And great fear fell upon them that saw them.
Yeah.
That's Revelations 11.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're employing our minds
Yeah.
with all of this, man.
I got
Brother, you kind of right though. With the
To,
first
um,
scripture
Yeah,
you
yeah, I was
quoted.
thinking Romans 13.
To what?
Slothful in business.
To what you're saying there.
Yeah, go on.
Surah 11 and 13 says, lift up your head. I'll start again. Take my time, man. Getting excited.
Yeah, man.
And lifted up his head from misery, so that many that saw it marveled at him.